Welcome to the first annual PJ Bottoms Game of the Year Awards. That's right. By the way, hello, it's been a minute. Every time the Game of the Year Awards rears its prestigious looking face around this time of year, I think to myself, man, there's so many good looking games that came out this year. And at best, I've played one, maybe two. With just the right amount of FOMO, I decided to take it upon myself doing something that is completely unoriginal and create my own award show based on my annual gaming experiences. So with that all said, let's get into it. Let's start from the very tippity top. The "Look, I'm finally getting around to it" award goes to Final Fantasy VII Remake. This dropped in 2020, I think. Even back then, learning that it was only, I guess, a third of the entire reimagining of Final Fantasy VII, I didn't see the point of rushing it. Kind of like my approach to Game of Thrones. I marathoned through seasons 1 through 7 over the course of like a month or two. Didn't make it any less disappointing, but at least I didn't invest as much mental bandwidth to remember all those silly little adventures. And I figured if I do one of these Final Fantasy VII games per year, I should be in good shape for when the final one comes out in 2027. Still wondering what that name could be. Anyways, moving on. The Best New Couch Co-op Award. Gotta give it to Split Fiction. I played that one with my wife. Both being creatives in our own rights, I felt like Split Fiction was at least a fun enough premise to put us into all these extraordinary scenarios and circumstances, from flying dragons to motorcycle chases on skyscrapers to being little pieces of candy going around a candy map. Not the best story, of course, but we don't get to play games together that often, so I'm always gonna cherish the time we've put into Split Fiction. Moving on, the This Could Have Been a Rewatch award goes to Death Stranding Director's Cut. And the funny thing is, I already platinumed this game when it came out in early 2020. I just wanted the story because I knew I was going to be there day on release for the sequel. But looking back on it now, yes, I did end up appreciating the other half of the finale that I didn't really care for that much the first go around. I also found myself caught a little completionist trap here. You see, they do a near complete auto pop when you move your file saves over, except for 2 trophies. I put in a bunch of hours to get that second to last trophy, and then when I realized I have to do so much more work on a profile that I barely did any of that work for, just to get the last trophy. Oh, just being 1 trophy away from completing something, it really just sets a bad taste in my mouth. Didn't need to replay this game. This is a lesson for me moving forward. Watch a long play. Take solace knowing that you're saving yourself potentially more hours by just hitting ×4 on that play bar when you want to see where the next cutscene takes you to versus replaying something like this that you've already platinumed. I've said my piece. Moving on, the Unexpected Nostalgia Tickle Award goes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Fall of the Foot Clan. I'm not a big Turtles fan. I like the new animated movie and this one Game Boy game that I acquired from my cousins. Coming across this out of the blue, almost 30-something years later, definitely made me feel warm and fuzzy on the inside. I definitely have a lot of those sound effects ingrained in my memory. Also, it didn't hurt that there was a infinite live, cheat to it being a retro game that they installed in it. So that actually helped me get to the finish line with it. Moving on, the Best Pokemon I've Played All Year award goes to Pokemon Crystal version. I played Silver a few times. I may have beaten Gold. They're obviously the same thing, just with some minor alterations, and Crystal does feel a little bit more unique. But nonetheless, Gen 2 is always a pleasant revisit. Just enough quality of life features to make me feel like this world is alive. It was a lot of fun. Moving on, the Superior to the Original in Every Way award goes to Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Well, I've sunk in over 150 hours now into this game. And that's mostly attributed to the fact that there are so many substantial improvements and upgrades of this game. Now, you could take or leave the narrative, but when it comes to the game design and the gameplay, things like a Von Solid playground of new things to work with, such as the monorails, such as these little teleporter pods that I can't recall the name of. Just having the DHV Magellan alone is a huge game changer in terms of carrying your inventory with you wherever you want across the map. Superior to the original in every way is definitely an appropriate label.
Moving on, the biggest waste of time trying to work an emulator only to snuff out any enthusiasm till Nintendo gives it a Switch port award goes to Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Good gravy, because it's not that demanding of a game, and I realized I have a Steam Deck. I should just try to emulate it on there. And I can. I couldn't give it all the 4K upscaling I would have loved to give it, so then I tried moving on to the PC. The PC gave me a very well-polished presentation that would randomly freeze. It was a horrendous thing to watch as I beat this frozen boss hunter guy, just to venturing a little bit further, find a save point and go, well, maybe I'd want to go back and finish the map, thinking I've finally worked out all the kinks of this thing, just for the game to freeze again. And I could go back to the Wii U and pick up where I left off, but I feel a little burnt by this one. And considering Metroid Prime 4 has had, I'll say, mixed reviews, I don't really see the rush. Moving on, the Best Party Game Award goes to PT. And all I'll say to this is it was a Halloween party. Next up, the That's Why I Never Played This Game award. And that goes to Michael Jordan, Chaos in Windy City. I picked this up sometime in 2008, definitely a novelty item. And I never really felt obligated to play through it. However, as I look at my Steam Deck one day and I figured, why not just take a crack at something new? It's just one of those types of games that... it's Michael Jordan Chaos in Windy City, a 2D platformer, and you gotta collect items in order to progress and save other basketball players. It just didn't have anything mold-breaking, such as the winner of the next award, I forgot I started a save file award, and that goes to Donkey Kong Country 2 Diddy's Conquest. Now, this isn't the first time I've played through this game. I've beaten this game numerous times and is a very exhilarating challenge. One time I think I got as close as like the third or fourth last level before running out of lives. I did a no save challenge. I completed Donkey Kong Country with retro achievements, and so I moved on to Donkey Kong Country 2. And I don't know, just got bored and moved on. And then I picked it back up this year, I guess for one night, and put it right back down. Yeah, maybe one day I'll finish that save. Maybe one day I'll get all those achievements. Who knows? Moving on. The most compelling tower defense I've played in a while award goes to, and this one's been on my radar for the better part of a year now, Dome Keeper. It's a pretty simple premise. Crash land on a planet, you have a dome-shaped base of operations and a hole that you just keep digging down through with your drill, and you upgrade your stats as you're going through a playthrough, but on the other hand, you also have to be retreating back to the dome itself and defend your dome from all these creepy-looking monsters that want to break in. For a game that's this simple, it kind of feels fun. Oh, by the way, shout out to GOG. They're fighting the good fight. Now, those are all the games I've played this year, but I've got more awards for honorary mentions, such as the Got Shafted Award goes to Ghost of Yotei, or Yotei. I won't say Ghost of Yotei. I love it for the people who are enjoying it, but I also know it's an open world game, and it's probably bigger than Ghost of Tsushima, which I did platinum, so I do have an idea of what that commitment looks like. Will I ever get around to it? Who can say? But it was in the running for a while, and sad it didn't make the cut. Moving on. The If I Only Get Around to Playing One Game Next Year, Let It Be This award goes to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I hear nothing but great things about it. I really want to get into it. I do enjoy a good turn-based RPG. This is also made by a French developer, which you don't see that often, and I think the MSRP is only $40 if I'm not mistaken.
So I definitely am looking forward to giving this a good old college try down the road. Moving on. Most anticipated for our 2026 award, that goes to the price of the Steam machine. I shudder to think how there's a world where Valve can market this at a compelling price point while not eating the cost outright. I know that they did a lot in order to make the Steam Deck as cheap as it was. I don't expect them to make this nearly as cheap as the Steam Deck. But if these were not such dire times for things such as RAM and possible GPU and SSD shortages to come, I would want to say this would probably try to be priced in the $700 range, since it seems like it's just a hair shy or two of a PS5 Pro. Maybe it's closer on par with a PS5. And nonetheless, I still think it's a very compelling offer, making a consumer-friendly, small form factor PC that is going to set a standard for games released on the Steam storefront. So we'll see what that comes out to. The least anticipated for 2026 award goes to Grand Theft Auto 6. Couldn't care less. Moving on. The played the most on this hardware award goes to the PlayStation 5 Slim. I like the Slim and its sleek design. If there was a world where Death Stranding 2 on the Beach came out day and release on Steam, definitely would not have bought it. But considering I put 150 hours into that game alone, and, also used it to replay Death Stranding Director's Cut and play through Split Fiction, and now I have access to a whole bunch of PlayStation Plus Essential games for the PS5 that I did subscribe to, I can't say it's not a worthwhile investment. I do plan to play some more games on it, but it does feel like it's soon to be overshadowed by the PlayStation 6 in a few years' time. So I'm glad I bought it at the smallest price point I could. I think I made a good use of it this year. So hopefully I'll tinker some more with it in the years to come. And now for the last award, the final award for whatever the name of this Game Award show is. The Game of the Year award goes to Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. Very easily could have been a stinker, and it's not. And I think that is attributed to the relentless craftsmanship and innovative mind of Kojima and his development team. It seems like he's been cranking away at this one, I guess, since the first one dropped. So we'll say as early as 2019 or 2020. I do wonder what that original premise was, but I'm definitely not upset with what we landed with. And considering out of all those other games, this one definitely has in giving me the most mileage for the $70 that I put into it. So yeah, I think that qualifies as Game of the Year award, and that does it. That's the show. Thank you for tuning in. Just hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, show the algorithm you're engaged, or whatever the hell that is. Bye bye.